Ahoy folks, and welcome back to Broadside Gaming with me, Zug. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Veteran again. And this isn't a plasma build for once. It's something, well, you probably already see this on the channel at some point, but it's the updated Recon lasgun build. So let's jump in and take a look, shall we? So first of all, the melee weapon. We're going with the dueling sword. And before I get into the ins and outs of it, I will say you can use either the Mark IV or the Mark II. The Mark IV has a little bit more of a predictable attack pattern, which is just all base strikes, and then heavy attacks are all jabs. But the Mark II, which is what I've been using on this character up till now, slightly different. They both do the exact same thing, just in slightly different ways. As you can see, the first one's a jab, the second one's a slash. I quite like the slash, but if it's not your cup of tea, use the Mark IV. They're both pretty much the same apart from that. And the other good thing about this sword, as it's as well as the other ones as well, is your special attack is going to give you something that there isn't really anything in the Veteran's Toolkit that can do, which is stagger crushers. So for me, the special attack is on my mouse button 4. One little jab, and you can stagger them out of their attack animation. And also, do insane damage to them. Now, we've got nothing in the way of melee damage increases in this build. That is just the sword working on its own. Right, now that's out of the way, let's jump back into it. So, modifiers. As usual, I'm using mobility as the dump stat. Everything else is at 80. And this is just going to give you a really nice spread of damage. I know some people swear by mobility, I don't. So, if you want mobility, dump cleave damage maybe? Or just damage if you want. But I would highly suggest mobility as your dump stat. And for perks, we're going with flak, as it is the most prevalent armor type in the game. This is going to give us the widest catchment of damage increases we can. And then we've got unyielding to help with dealing with Ogryns and with dealing with boss damage if we have to get into melee. Now, blessing wise, we're going for rampage, which is going to give us more damage when we're cleaving. And uncanny strikes is going to give us rending on enemy weak spot hit. And as this sword is very, very precise, and we're mostly going to be using heavy attacks against harder targets, it's all aiming for the face and weak spots. So that is just going to be a little cherry on top of this incredibly dangerous weapon. Now, for the ranged weapon, we're using the Recon lasgun, and I'm using the Mark 12. I would quickly go through the marks with you so you can see what the differences are. The Mark 12 is the lowest damage, but the fastest firing. And then you've got the Mark 14, which is the heaviest damage, but the slowest firing. And then you've got the Mark 6C, which is the in-between. I prefer the Mark 12. It works really well with this build. It's very accurate, a lot of damage down range, and also with the speed that it fires, you are stacking up Infernus a lot quicker on all targets. So how are we building this thing? Surprise, surprise, mobility is also the dump stat on this weapon. I will point out that, as you can see on the modifier split, that doesn't add up to 380. That adds up to 381, and that is a bug. 380 is the max you can get a weapon to. If you find any modifier that takes you over that 380, it is purely a visual bug. So try not to get confused about that, because I did at the beginning. But it is purely just a visual bug. Don't worry about it. And for the perks, we're going to be running flak again, because it's the most numerous armor type in the game. And we're also going to be running a 5% crit buff on this weapon, because we want to try and stack as much crit as we can to proc Infernus. Which is also why we're taking Headhunter, which is going to stack up the crit on weak spot hits. And Infernus, well, this is just going to add a huge amount of damage to the build. before we jump into the curios, if you've not seen this weapon in action before, you've not tried it, it is incredibly accurate. And if you really, really have to, you can hose down crushers with it. I mean, it's a bit of a waste of ammo, but it is effective. So, that's our range weapon. Let's take a look at the curios. We are running 3 toughness curios, all spec'd the exact same, with increased toughness, toughness regeneration speed, and damage resistance gunners. And the reason we're taking damage resistance gunners is because gunners are absolutely lethal. They can shred you in a very short space of time. Basically, by the time you've realised they're shooting at you, they've already done quite a bit of damage. They have been nerfed since Unlocked and Loaded came out, so they are not as insanely dangerous. But the other reason we're taking damage resist gunners is because it doesn't just reduce the damage from Dreg and Scab gunners, it also reduces the damage from Reapers and Shotgunners. So that is 5 different enemies that this is giving you a resistance to, which is a really nice spread. And the reason we're taking toughness on everything, is because this is a voice command build as well. We are able to regen back that toughness incredibly quickly, and this is going to allow us to stack it up even higher. So that is the gear out of the way. Let's take a look at the talents. So first of all, we're going to be grabbing Long Shot, deal up to 20% range-based damage bonus. Bonus is reduced the nearer the target. Close Order Drill, up to 33% toughness damage reduction, the more allies in coherency. Confirmed Kill, replenish 10% toughness on elite or special enemy kill, and a further 20% toughness over 10 seconds. You'll see this is a ongoing theme in the build. Lots and lots of toughness regen and toughness damage reduction. A stamina node here, a toughness node here, and then into Crack Grenade. Now, I'm going to clear up something that was incredibly rudely pointed out to me in one of the other videos. I don't take the Shredder Frag Grenade because I don't personally like it. I understand what it's for. The Shredder Frag Grenade is for being able to clutch. It staggers, it knocks back, it adds a bleed. If one of your teammates is down, you're the last one up, you throw it down, it blows up, knocks everything over, and you clutch. Okay? It is good. I just don't personally like it. So if you are not a fan of the Crack Grenade, then I highly suggest taking this route instead of this route. I'll just show that to you again. Go through here, and then back into the middle. It is very good at what it does. It's not quite as effective as the Zealot Stunstorm Grenade, but it does give you that small window where you can do what you need to do. I just personally prefer the Crack Grenade. Okay? So if you don't like the Crack Grenade, go for the Shredder Frag Grenade. Otherwise, let us continue. So we're going through the Crack Grenade, down into the health boost, down into covering fire. When you kill an enemy with a ranged attack, allies within 5 meters of the target replenish 15% toughness and receive plus 10% to all base damage for 3 seconds. Just a nice little team buff for you. Fire team, plus 5% damage for you and your allies in coherency. And then down into another toughness damage reduction node, we're taking field improvisation. Ammo crates also restore grenades, medipacks heal 100% faster, and cleanse corruption at a 1%. Cleanse corruption and replenish 1% toughness per second. There we go. If you want to be super selfish, you can take the point out of that and put it into critical strike. That's not any judgment on my behalf. If you just want to take more crit, go for crit here. But this is a nice team boost, and it doesn't just apply it to the med packs and ammo packs that you put down. It is team-wide. If you have this ability, any pack that is put down gets this effect. We're also taking Demolition Stockpile to replenish 1 grenade every 60 seconds. This will take you out of the rat race to grab grenades. Into Voice of Command. Replenish your toughness and stagger all enemies within 9 meters. Base cooldown is 30 seconds. And then we're going to be taking Duty and Honor, which now provides us with plus 50 toughness for 15 seconds. This can exceed your maximum toughness. So this adds sort of an overshield. Shield's the wrong word, but it increases your toughness past its maximum by 50. Suppression boost, yeah. And then into range damage over here, and into precision strikes, plus 30% weak spot damage. Our gun works mostly off of weak spot damage, as you can see with Headhunter. So the more accurate you can be at hitting weak spots, the more damage you're going to be doing. Then down into fully loaded for plus 25% ammo. Picking up Shock Trooper, critical hits with las weapons consume no ammo. And into Superiority Complex for plus 15% base damage. Shock Trooper does work a lot better than it used to now, because they put an incredibly awkward cooldown, or internal cooldown, on how often Shock Trooper can work. They've now relaxed on that. It isn't every single critical hit. It works out to every other to every third is the kind of spacing. But with a weapon that fires this quickly, you're going to notice the ammo save. And then back to the middle. For the Emperor, your combat ability gives you and your allies incoherency, plus 10% melee base damage and plus 10% range base damage for 5 seconds. Tactical awareness, combat ability cooldown reduced by 6 seconds on specialist enemy kill. Iron Will, one of the best talents in the tree, plus 50% range toughness damage if above 75% toughness. Now this synergizes incredibly well with Voice of Command. You're going to want to be popping this as soon as you see the team's toughness dropping down, or it's a bit of a sketchy situation. You are pumping this out just to keep everyone up and going. And also it staggers. And just to point out as well, this also staggers, so does the Shredder Frag grenade. You know, we have ways to stagger. And then down into a toughness boost here, we're taking Rending Strikes, gives 10% rending to all weapons. If you don't like this, you can take out the rending there and put it into crit. Bring it down, plus 20% damage to Ogryns and monstrosities. A nice damage boost there. And then into Focus Target. Gain Focus Target every 2 seconds, stacks 5 times. Tagging an enemy applies the Focus Target stacks to them, causing them to take 4% additional damage for each stack, and resets your Focus Target stacks to 1. And we are also taking Target down. If an enemy you have tagged dies, replenish 5% toughness and 5% stamina for each stack of Focus Target applied to you and your allies in coherency. Focused Fire, you now have 8 stacks. And then Redirect Fire, if an enemy you have tagged dies, grant 1.5% damage to for each stack of Focus Target applied to you and your allies in coherency, lasts 10 seconds. So, the core game loop of this build: you pick a target, you shoot it in the face, you pick another target, you shoot it in the face. It's literally that simple. You just tag things. I've changed my tag key to C, just because I find it slightly more convenient. And as you can see, I don't have full stacks. I have 4, I have 5. They don't cancel each other out if you have to re-tag a target. They add on until that target then has 8 stacks. So don't feel like you have to hold back and wait till you hit 8. Tag stuff as you're going, especially with specials and elites. Like, definitely specials, because you're going to want the extra damage off of them to help bring them down as quickly as you can. If that means you have to tag them twice, it's absolutely fair enough. And then with the crack grenade, as you can see, if you're in trouble with, say, bulwarks or crushers, heavy armor is bearing down on you, chuck a crack grenade. But there is also quite a funny thing you can do. Let them come closer to you. When they group up to try and hit you, you stagger them with Voice of Command. They're all on top of each other. Obviously, you'll have to do it much quicker than that, which is usually throw the grenade, voice of command, watch them all die. But you will learn the timings for it. Like each attack from Ogren's is different. Once you play a bit more, you'll kind of get the feel for when you can pull that trick off. You know, that trick isn't going to work all the time, but when it does work, it is very satisfying. And of course, it gets rid of bulwarks quite easily as well. Now, as for the melee, I'm going to go back to it again, just to remind everyone that this sword is ridiculously powerful. You want to be aiming for the face to stack up that lovely rending, and if you do get in trouble with, say, a crusher, you can use the special attack to stagger them out of their attack, which gives you a few extra seconds to finish it or to make space and back away from it. So that special attack is very, very useful and very important, as you can see. It's a really nice way to make space for yourself or try and survive what would have otherwise been a mortal wound. But there you go, folks. Very simple build, very effective. I really like running it, to be honest. And I hope you do too. And if you do, please do like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It really does help us out. And I shall see you all for the next one. So until then, take it easy. I'll see you later.